switch gears right here. This is incredible. And I'm very honored to have this gentleman join the stream right here. And here, just give me a second to compose myself. But thank you so much. Look, it's Will, the owner, the founder of Cryptoys. You popped onto my stream just out of the blue.
Yeah, sorry for just the random out of the blue pop in, but I got the note from the team. You're getting a 2-for-1. You're going to get someone else joining in about a second. My co-founder and lead artist, Freddie, is joining to say hello. So be on the lookout for Freddie.
Yeah, I see him right now. Let's add him right now. This is incredible, you guys. Freddie, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Hey guys, so I'm Aaron, and we've never spoken before. I've just watched your live streams, and I'm really honored that you guys would come on. I just sent you a link today, just casually, because I know you guys have been doing some interviews and doing some great stuff. And but I was going to go over the Leia stuff here on the channel because I've been following obviously the progression of the drops. I saw your Leia video. I didn't catch the live. I had to actually watch it on a replay. But of course, I saw your big interview with OG Vault, who's in the chat. And that was amazing, Will. Like, I have to say, I really loved all the stuff you had to say. So, I'll ask you a few questions about that, but it's really kind of a casual thing. And then Freddie, I've never met you, of course. So it's so cool to see you too. So, yeah, you guys must be getting busy.
Yeah, it was funny. Freddie and I were in a one-on-one. We were just having a sync up, catching up on things. And we caught up and I said, hey, you know what? We both have a hard stop around 2:00. We're like, hey, we have 10 minutes. Let's jump into the stream and say what up to MyCollectables. And
that's so awesome.
Quickly, so it worked out timing wise, and we're happy to be here, man. And yes, we're ramping up. Freddie's not going to say it; I'll say it for him. Freddie pulled an all-nighter last night. Freddie's on team no sleep at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh my God, everybody! Big shout out to Freddie then, because I know what that's all about. Like, that's great. Like, wow. Like, so how is the reception going for you guys so far? Because I saw you guys when you first kind of started to announce the Star Wars stuff. Totally got my interest. I mean, I'm a Star Wars maniac, and I know you guys are too, right? Like, this is one of the things that it's really been intriguing me about, because I wanted to look closely at your project too. I'd seen the He-Man stuff before because I'm an 80s kid.
Yep.
And that was like really interesting to me. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, right? It's different. And so I've been really watching you guys, and your guys' communication with the public, like with the audience here, has been really stellar. I got to say, like, coming out there and seeing the whole team and seeing like all of you working together and your relationships, it's almost like you're letting us get to know you. And I think that's a really great approach. So I've been watching a lot, getting pretty excited about it. And then when I saw you, Will, talk with OG Vault, and just some of how you feel about the whole space as a collecting space, that was really exciting for me. Right. So, so can you touch on that just again? Because people in the Vivi community, we've had other platforms come at us.
Yep.
And we've had, people in this community have gone at other platforms. And I think that's just, I come from a collecting background, a physical collecting background. And to me, it's just, we all need all the stuff to raise up. So I love what you're saying. So yeah, maybe, do you mind touching on that? Because I thought that was what you were saying, man.
Yeah, happy to. So yeah, we're just, incredibly bullish on the space. What we have to all realize is the space is incredibly small. We like to say in the Web3 space, hey, we're still early. Well, yes, you are. You are still early. This is a very early nascent space that's growing, and a rising tide lifts all boats. So it's not a comparison, it's not a competition, because the space is so small and we're all growing together. We really need to be more collaborative than competitive. I'll say right now, like, I really love Vivi. I'm a Vivi user. I'm a Vivi collector. I have Star Wars Vivi stuff. And I think what David and the team has produced is absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of HRO and what that team is doing. That's a whole other angle. And what they're doing with the DC IP, super cool. That whole crafting mechanism, I think, is awesome. So all these different initiatives fill out different subsets of the space and will cater to new people that will discover the space for the first time. So, there might be folks that discover Vivi and get in the space through Vivi, then discover Cryptoys. That's fantastic. We hope there's going to be a lot of folks that discover Cryptoys and then discover Vivi right after they get through Cryptoys. And then it kind of goes around in like a fortuitous flywheel. But the space is so small, and we all want to kind of see it grow together. So, our whole approach is to be as collaborative as possible, because, we're all one big community here.
Yeah, for sure. And Freddie, so How did you guys meet? Co-founder, right? So it's like you guys are the two at the top here with the vision and stuff. I mean, your team looks amazing, by the way. You can see how excited everybody is. But yeah, how did you guys meet? And sorry if you've already answered this question somewhere else, but I want to know.
Hey, well, first off, let me thank you for your videos. I've been watching them too, and you've been approaching everything cautiously and moving your way through it and kind of buying into it. And I love that honest approach. So I just wanted to give you kudos.
Oh yeah, man, I'm a collector, and when I see something I like, I zone in on it, and then I go like, oh, okay, like we've had other Star Wars attempts in the past. I'm sure you guys know all about them. There was these really cool helmets that came out like 8-9 months ago, and ended up being like just nothing, right? But they looked amazing, and I was I didn't buy any of them. But your guys' stuff looks so great. I mean, I know you guys are like 100% legit, and you're doing it the right way, and that's what I love, right? Everything you guys have been saying has been right, like wow, this team knows what they're doing, and that's important, right, in this day and age, right? Of course. But yeah, going back to my question, how did you guys meet there? And
so we have 3 other co-founders. We're a team of 5 that started this company.
Okay.
And out of our other 3, Emilio, our CTO, I used to work with them way back when we worked together at Disney. Then we parted ways. I became an artist, became an engineer, and then he had another startup that was successfully sold with Will. And then when this idea came about, then he basically said, well, we're going to need some animation. And I know just the guy. So that's how they brought me onto the table, and they pitched the idea, and I was in that period of my life where I was trying to figure out what to do for myself. And it's like, I don't want to work for a company. I like to do something of my own. So it's like all the stars align, and this is how we ended up here.
And when they like told you that, oh, by the way, we're going to be doing Star Wars, we're going to be doing like, He-Man, we're going to be doing all and other stuff. I know that I saw you guys, you can't talk about what's coming, obviously, but there's going to be more stuff. So like, how did that make you feel? Because if that was me, dude, like I would have been like, what? We're doing Star Wars? Sign me up.
Well, here's the funny thing, and this is the stuff that a lot of people don't know. We actually started this about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
This is before NFTs, before everything blew up. We were thinking, it's like, imagine about, Will had the idea of digital toys in the blockchain. Right. Sure. And then at the time, nobody was interested. So I even got to a point where I really wanted to focus on this. So I even quit my job so I could have the time to really develop the art that we could use to pitch to investors and get funding so we can develop this. After a really big effort, he ended up not amounting to too much. So we just put it on hold for the time being. And then fast forward to the NFT mania, and we had all this content ready to go. And then we were able to, at that time, then secure some funding and get everything going. So at the time, we did not know we were going to be working on Star Wars and He-Man and all this other fun stuff that we're working on right now. But it's definitely a big surprise, and everybody working on it, at least from the artist's point of view, they're extremely excited about it. So
you guys saw like a and Will, I'm sure you can piggyback on it. You guys saw like, so okay, like just backing up a second. So my kids are teenagers. Like I have a 13 and a 15-year-old. And so, and like I said, I've been in a collector my whole life, right? I own physical retail shop and so I'm right in there. So, I could see the trends, we start with gaming, for example. You can see the trends of everything going digital, right? Like not leaving behind the physical because, look at my wall behind me, right? I mean, you guys too, right? I see your stuff back there, right? There's never going to replace that, but you can see how the world's going with our devices and like how the youth interact with like, like fandoms and how they interact with IPs and how they experience movies and all this kind of stuff. You can see it going digital more and more. Is that something that you guys saw in the early days? Like you said, 5 years ago, is that kind of and then you're maybe a bit early, it sounded like, right? Even ahead of the curve. So
sure. So the way this kind of idea kind of spawned was really through my daughter. This was my daughter's idea. And she's 10 now. She was like 5 going on 6 at the time. She was obsessed with these toys called LOL Surprise and Hatchimals. I don't know if you guys know what they are, but they're like surprise unboxing toys, basically. And she was obsessed with them. I was spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on these toys that she would collect. And, basically they're surprise packs. You take them home, you open them up, inside is a random toy. Some are more rare than others. At the same time, I got introduced to CryptoKitties. This was around 2017, 2018. So
Yeah.
CryptoKitties was one of the first NFTs. The idea of a digital collectible for me was like fascinating because I grew up as a baseball card and basketball card collector. Then I got into Pogs. If you guys remember Pogs back
Oh
in the
yeah, Pogs.
Yeah. then comic books.
Yeah.
And then I became a gamer. I played a lot of video games. So like the idea of collecting in a digital space was like super exciting for me. So
Yeah.
NFTs was like, you know, as soon as I saw CryptoKitties, I opened up a MetaMask wallet and I bought a few CryptoKitties. And then my daughter was interested at the same time in these blind bag surprise pack kind of unboxing experiences. And then one day I'm working from home. She screams from the playroom with excitement that she got the ultra rare. And she opens up the packs. Here's the ultra rare, this gold glittery plastic doll.
Yeah.
And she looks at it for like 10 seconds and then throws it in the bin, the mountain of plastic in the corner of the room, just to collect dust. And when I asked her, I'm like, well, what now? Because they're all there in the corner. She goes, oh, no, I don't do anything with them. And then she's like having this idea about like, you know, but you know what would be cool? Because like, remember, kids get their iPads these days between 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
So she had an iPad and she's like, it'd be cool if I could incorporate it into the iPad and play with it in different ways. So like we started thinking about what does the toy of the future look like, this like digital toy. Yeah. And that's when we started ideating and we're like, here's this big segment of the toy industry, this collectible model. You can finally do this digitally for the first time ever, thanks to blockchain and NFTs. What if we merged the two? What if we took the concept of NFTs and blockchain and mixed it with the world of toys and then did it in a digital format? And that was really the genesis of the idea, and ran it by Emilio and Fonz, who were my co-founders at the time. And then immediately Emilio was like, I know just the guy. And Freddie was the guy, and this would not be possible one bit without Freddie. I mean, like he's the guy behind all of these assets that you see. It is a full team effort. We have 61 people, and engineering crushes it. Fonz and design crushes it. Emilio, who's our CTO, is pulling all-nighters alongside Freddie and team, and you know JT on operations, and then it just goes all the way down across every facet of the company. But a lot of people, the first impression that they have of Cryptoys is all that the blood, sweat, and tears that Freddie and his team put into those designs and creating the Cryptoys aesthetic and look. So it was really when we met Freddie that we knew we had a team makeup of something special. And we were just like, again, building a side project and seeing where it went. And Freddie really took that leap of faith right away. And thankfully, you know, we tried our best and we persisted at it. And finally, the timing was right. A couple years later, you know, sometimes, like you said, you are too early, but then you persist. And I guess they say a broken clock is right twice a day. So we were a broken clock, just kept on that 2 o'clock time, and Freddie, eventually we were right.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, that's crazy. Like, yeah. So I mean, everybody wants to know these stories because it's so fascinating. I mean, if you're in the fandom like I am, and like a lot of people are, like with Star Wars and other fandoms and stuff like that. I mean, I can imagine like, you know, you going into that, you know, first meeting or whatever, that pitch meeting, you know, and cause you know, I've done, you know, my background's also graphic design. And so I've gone into client meetings, you know, and I've like had to like, you know, try to secure clients and like, or try to pitch ideas or whatever. And I know you probably can't, you know, tell us too much because that's kind of private internal stuff, but that must have been some crazy meeting when you guys were walking in the door. Were you sweating there just before you went in? I mean, like, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Or were you like super calm and like, oh yeah, for sure, right?
The Disney meeting?
Yeah, like a Disney meeting, right? Like, you know, like because people like, okay, so you know, you're in the communities, right? You're listening. People are like, wow, I wonder what it was like. Like, how did they? We want to hear these stories, even though we can't hear all of it. We want to see it, even like, you know, we're so curious. Like, this is such a big, giant IP with so much history, and like you guys are in there, and I mean, it's such an amazing accomplishment. I mean, I don't have to tell you, but to like land that and then to fulfill it and then to like turn it around and now build this audience. I mean, a lot of people take it for granted. I'm sure the work that you guys have put in, the hours. I mean, Freddie, last night, I mean, who knows what you're working on, right? But it's 24 hours. But I mean, like that first meeting you're going into, like, what was that like? Just on a personal level.
I'll say something real quick, then I'll hand off to Freddie. I do have to jump.
I know you don't have much time. I really appreciate you jumping in, man.
But yeah, happy to do it. and Freddie has experiences. Freddie used to be a Disney employee, as you heard, right? So Freddie's worked at Disney, and he knows a lot about it. Shout outs to Disney. They're absolutely incredible to work with. We're having a blast working with them, and they feel like an extension of the team. It was definitely a moment for me. Let Freddie speak for himself from his perspective, but like just understanding like the Burbank campus and the Glendale campus out there in California, and you hear all these things about Imagineering and the whole world of Disney and what they can do, and their IP. I'm a Disney's kid. I raised on Disney. Star Wars obviously became part of the Disney family later on, and I grew up on Star Wars, but all the classic movies, in the 90s, like whether it's Aladdin or Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, just so many classics. So I grew up on Disney, so it was very surreal to kind of walk through those doors and have a meeting with those folks, and you quickly realize that they think of things very similarly to we, as far as the future of experiences for fans and how to create cool things and cool products, and we just had a blast. So super surreal on my side.
That is awesome. Yeah. And Freddie, you too. You used to work at Disney, right? So
yeah, I used to be a cast member. I worked. I was a stuntman at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Orlando.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
So similar story. Disney actually shaped a lot of who I am today. I'm an animator, and Disney was kind of like the goal always. How I ended up as a stuntman there too is going on vacation when I was 12 years old, saw the epic show, the Indiana Jones show, and decided that's what I was going to do. I never told anybody until I finally moved to the States. I'm from Venezuela, and then chased that dream, went to as many auditions as I could, and eventually got a gig as a stunt performer at Disney. I figured this would be a way to maybe somehow find my way into the animation part of Disney, which I actually never did. And I worked for a lot of commercial houses and movie houses in Los Angeles, but I actually never got the opportunity to work at Disney Animation. So this whole thing for me is it's very rewarding, because it's not necessarily working at Disney Animation, but we're working with Disney. It's almost another level. So it's very validating to the steps I've taken in my career, and the choices I've made throughout my life. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Will, I know you probably got to get going, right? But once again, like hopefully get a chance to talk again soon. And
Freddie and I will come back on future streams. Just let us know.
I like to throw links out there to people, if you guys want to pop in and stuff like that. And especially, I was going to go over the Leia stuff, and because it's all now together on your site, like it's all it's to look at. So I appreciate that. But thanks for coming on, and I'll ask you more questions in the future. And I just like talking to people who are passionate in what we're doing here, right? It's super fun for me. So I think you guys are doing a great job. I mean, I'm just one little dude here, but I think you guys are doing an amazing job, and I'm pretty excited about what's coming. So
you're awesome, brother. We watch your videos. You're such a great voice and an advocate for the space. So keep doing what you're doing. And congrats on your first Cryptoy. You got Cringer, and
yes,
that's one of Freddie's favorites. If you look at his Twitter account, that's his profile picture, is that Cringer. So
that's right. I love it. Yeah, no, I'm a big 80s kid, so I love Cringer, and I love all of them. Believe me, I got lots of vintage He-Man. I could pull out boxes, and
nice.
I grew up as one of my favorite toys of all time. And who knows what else you guys will bring us, right?
Yeah, stay tuned.
Well, Freddie, do you have a couple minutes?
I can spare a few minutes.
Okay, I'll ask you another couple of questions. But Will, cheers. We'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Freddie, just really quick before you go, I have the site up here, and I just want to give you guys some credit here, right here. If we just go quickly to it, we got the drops right here, and I was going to go over this earlier, but hold on one second right here. Explore the collection right here. I'm learning the site. I'm getting it up, but here's if we scroll down, we got the whole thing. So Leia, she was dropped. So you must have worked really hard on her. She looks fantastic. Look at her over there and over there. I know you had the whole live stream. So what was the process, for all of this? Like, how long did it take you guys to put all these together now that they're all up?
So the process is a few months long based on how we're doing this. We want to create a very striking and different experience when you unbox these characters.
Yeah.
And I think you experienced some of that with your Motu purchase that you made. And this is no different. So we're not necessarily in a cookie cutter. We're making sure that that experience really fits the IP that we're doing. So in between doing the unboxing experience and doing each characters, and as you can see here, each rarity is not necessarily a different coloration of the same character. Each rarity is a different model. So this requires all the way from concept to modeling, rigging, texturing, and animation. As well as plugging everything into the game engine or into the pre-render side of things for marketing purposes.
And you guys are the ones who are like designing these, right? And like doing, and then sending that like over, and then working with Disney or Lucasfilm or whatever to for approvals and things, and they give you feedback. And that's very cool. So this is all in-house with your team. And you said you got like 60 people there, hey?
Yeah, we have 60 people, and this is varied between different teams and disciplines too. We have engineering, and between engineering, you have subdisciplines too, front end, back end, QA, and all that. In art, it's the same thing. We are a total of 21 people in the art team. But in that, you have modelers, you have riggers, you have texture artists, you have animators. So not one person can necessarily do it all. We have two people that are journalists that can pretty much, get their hands in any part of the pipeline. But as you can see, it's like, it sounds like a lot of people. When you break it down to the specialty for each one, then it becomes very small, actually.
Yeah, you guys are still. Do you have like more big plans to like grow further? Or like, is everything going well for you guys at the start here? Like, as a company, like, you getting some good traction? Like, how are you feeling about that?
Well, we're what I can say about this is that, let's say, in the telling of the story I said earlier, we started this 5 years ago. When we started this whole thing, we kind of thought to ourselves and come up with a business plan and a projection. We figured it's like, hey, maybe like 3 to 5 years, maybe we get a seat at the table to talk, to Disney or the Battels or all these other bigger companies with the bigger IPs. And a year in, we're already on that table. So it was actually quite surprising and striking, and again, validity to the quality of the work and the love that we're putting behind it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, man, it's a great first meeting that we had right here, and I really appreciate it. We've never spoken before, so this is cool. Like I said, my name's Aaron, like in real life, so so
you got mine right there.
Mine is right there, so that's great. But yeah, hopefully we get a chance to talk again soon. And like I said, kudos on the job you guys are doing. I mean, like I know you're getting attention in the space, and you're. Like I said, the way you guys seem to be honestly just approaching it with this kind of passion, I can see it, right? I mean, so that's engaging, right? So, it got my attention for sure. And as a Star Wars fan, because like I said, I'm just a mega fan. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater as a kid, right? Like I was born in the 70s, so I go back a bit. And, so, I'm a bit of an OG that way. So when I see this come out, I'm kind of like, okay, good. Here we go. We got a new thing to collect. And also the other thing about it too, and one last question before you go, there's so many different kinds of Star Wars stuff you can collect, different kinds of figures, different sizes, different, there's something for everybody, right? So that's probably an approach. I know you guys have mentioned that this is a different kind of Star Wars collectible than on other platforms or physical stuff. But it's still, you can play with it, right? You can go into the 3D space, right? So that must be a big
plan for it. And that's a big part of it too. And doing 3D and using the game engine, it's just it opens up the world for the things that we can do with it. So we definitely have plans, and those will slowly come out, and we'll make announcements and releases as we go along.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Freddie.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. Very nice meeting you.
Get some sleep.
Yes. Bye-bye.
All right, cheers.